that releases were not proceeding smoothly at the time. And secondly, that patches written by folks over here were of marginal value if they never made it to the end users who needed them. The bug isn't fixed until the fix is in the hands of the end user. And the mechanism that seemed most promising to me for speeding up the magnitude and volume of the deployment of improvements was to make the release process go more smoothly. So my concern is that I don't really know how to explain, or in what context to explain, the idea that there's, I'll back up one step. Is the release process the appropriate way to manage the construction, testing, and deployment of changes which fix bugs at a low-key level? It's a very heavyweight process. It has long latencies. It requires communication across language barriers that goes up and down and jumps through all of these ideological barriers. Is that actually how this should work? It has some advantages for making support costs predictable for the people, putting up the money and organizing the affair. But
long term, the obvious path is to get the kids trained and create the user base in the country to manage their local issue, and send us the stuff that we have to, so that they can do their repairs and their workarounds, and then they send us the stuff that actually needs to be fixed.
You have any input on this, Scott, from your travels?
Sorry, I'm working on my talk for later. I really believe the solution has to be local. I think that to some degree, if we're talking about it here, we're in the wrong place. The template of failed foreign aid projects has been a group of smart people sitting in an office in the United States trying to figure out how some other country should solve their problems.
Yep.
And so, in some sense, the OLPC's deployment model has a sort of perverse brilliance to it in that they say we're just not doing it, and you guys are going to have to do it by yourselves. And I think the perverse brilliance of that is because I think it is very tempting to try to solve all their problems here in this room right now. And I don't think that's actually the solution. So
I don't think it's tempting at all. Terrified of it.
Well, I mean, so I think we should by all means try to integrate stuff. But the first step is there should be a local users group in whatever the deployment is. If there's a deployment in Chicago, there should be some kind of local group in Chicago. If there's a deployment in Peru, there should be a local group in Peru. They should be first.
Let's go with that as a
responders.
detailed example. Let's take Rap Segal, which is a group of people who are local, who are quite interested in improving these problems, and who do some intriguing things towards that end, like organizing their own teacher training seminars, and like having a small number of really remarkably technical people like Andres, who actually has gotten a variety of patches into Sugar that fix useful and interesting things. We visited their volunteer conference the weekend that we were there. We gave a silly little talk about 8.2, which is useful for our ends, but doesn't contribute directly to building up their capacity, other than as a motivating force for explaining why they should build capacity. To say that yes, the software can be changed in ways that are beneficial to them.
Right.
So how do you propose to inject foreign aid to prop up their system?
I have some idea what to do to help out Latu, because Latu's programming side could so clearly benefit from more direct exposure to programming culture and techniques.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know as much about what to do.
You asked before.
This is just quick. I think there's value in having a partnership with a university, especially if it's in Chicago, having a partnership with a local university or high school.
Yes. And we need the technical universities, we need the schools of education, we need several other schools, because there are the fundamental question behind all of this is how does it feed into the economic development that then allows you to put money into solving many of your other problems. Because long-term, if our economic development model through education is successful, it won't be foreign aid, it will be taxes that pays for a lot of this, or it will be donations from people who got rich, the foundation model and so forth.
And if I may, Scott, the way I interpreted it in this context about our whole model, and I mean this
Sure.
brick and whatever we put inside to make it work, the whole model is to offer countries how to, we're going to help you to help yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and then we need to a little bit keep investing a bit, and yes, not solve their problems. I'm 100% for it. To begin with, even if we were successful, it would be completely expensive, and it cannot be successful. But the point is that, as Michael was pointing out very well, we need to maybe help them learn a little bit about the culture and how to get them to solve their own problems. So we need to go that extra mile somehow. Yeah.
Right.
Some of this goes.
My point is just that I don't
right
think
into the-
us coming up with the world's best bug tracker here is actually gonna solve the problem.
No.
Right? Because
I-
that's
No,
not.
no, it's not,
I agree with you.
it's not, because it's not a purely technical problem.
And because they might not use it. Doesn't matter, we
Yeah.
already have the world's best software here, okay,
Well,
yeah, but it's
theoretically.
not getting used.
In-
So,
In the Uruguay situation, with everything that they actually have in place, is there still a flood of stuff coming into you guys that is too much to deal with, I guess is the one question.
We had a very intense session yesterday